The Chiefs have three major decisions to make before this offseason can even start getting going. And the first is on Dee Ford. Welcome back. The Chiefs offseason has started with the Super Bowl in its conclusion, and they have a couple of things they have got to get done in order to set up everything else that has to happen this offseason. The hiring of Steve Spagnuolo actually started the process and looking at who can fit into his new scheme separate from what the Chiefs have done in the past. Obviously, the transition is something to the 4-3 under that we're going to anticipate, although they will still play a ton of nickel. And if you missed my last couple of videos on Spagnuolo, go check those out. They'll be linked at the cards at the end. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, this is RGR. I'm Ryan, and I'm going rogue. I appreciate you guys checking it out. And if you're new, make sure you hit the subscription, the notifications, leave that thumbs up if you like what I'm doing, and also leave your comment. Want to have a good conversation? We appreciate your opinion as well. Now, first and foremost, a couple of things happened this week. One was that Brett Veach talked to the media, and through a couple of folks, got his comments outbound, and he was very adamant about how happy they are with the return of Dee Ford, being able to quote-unquote keep him. And then certainly that makes sense because the way that he produced last season was the best of his career. He was healthy for an entire season, first of his career. And looks like going forward, he could play that Leo from the wide 9 rushing position that I think Spagnuolo is going to use quite a bit. Maybe they have to come up with something. Maybe he still has to develop, and they're willing to let him against the run. But that would allow them to have a premier pass rusher underneath a franchise tag that should be affordable. And that really sets the first part of this trio of decisions, including Houston and Barry, and I'll talk about those in a coming video. The big thing about Ford is that when properly motivated and properly healed, because he did have surgery last season, he's been able to this point to really produce in 2018. Now, can he do it in 2019 under a different scheme? Probably, because at the end of the day, you're going to play nickel and you're going to line him up wide and you're going to let him use his speed to attack that corner. And the nice thing about when you're rushing from a wide 9 is that you actually make contact with the tackle deeper down the field. So I think it actually will play into Dee Ford's natural talent, his experience from college, a little bit more, because then you're talking about underneath moves that can help from the other pinching maneuver. You get those inside moves that I think he's going to be able to continue to expand on. I think he made some progress this season. I think he's got a ways to go, but I think this will give him an opportunity, and clearly the team thinks that they're going to keep him around. So in my mind, that's the first of the 3 decisions. I like what they're doing. He does have to get better against the run, that's for sure. And when you're playing that Leo position, the guy who rushes from the weak side of the formation, you have to be able to set that last line of defense. But what we learned with the comments from Veach is that they are clearly intent on keeping him. Now that does something in terms of set up the money for the other 2 decisions. You have the pass rusher on the other side in Justin Houston. Has a big cap number. Very difficult to try and sign free agents to try and build the secondary when you have that kind of money already expended in another pass rusher. This is going to put a pinch. I hope that they're trying to pursue getting him to take a pay cut in the form of a restructure, and that would give you what you really want, and that would be to keep the trio together. The pass rush was clearly the biggest thing that they had going last season, and that was Houston, Ford, and Chris Jones. When you drop one of them out of there, it makes things easier for the offense to block. And I think if they can get him to restructure, which I'm not sure he's even interested in, we're going to talk about that in the coming video too, it's going to be really telling to see how they can get that done. So first things first, it appears, and this is just at first glance, that a tag is coming for Dee Ford. That's what I've been talking about for the last couple weeks on the Locked On Chiefs podcast, and if you missed that, that's in the show notes as well. Check that out. The podcast we run year-round with a couple of us doing all kinds of research, both on the field, in the draft metrics are coming as well. If you want a cup like this or something similar, make sure you check out the RGR store. It is linked below as well. I appreciate your time. That's it for today. I'll be doing the live streams as well, so I will see you there, and thanks for watching today.